Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 6 of the seasonal anime Survivor Show. Last week, we voted off SSSS Dyna Zenon. There are 7 shows left. We got Vivy, Higehiro, Nagatoro, Shadow's House, 86, Fumetsu no Nate, and Tokyo Revengers. And so we're
Hmm.
gonna jump right back into the conversation and discuss. We'll be discussing the 6th episodes of these shows. So if you're wondering which episodes we're talking about, it's the episode 6 of all of the shows. And there are spoilers, so if you want to just skip to the shows that you have seen, there will be timestamps. Okay, anyway, getting straight into 86. What were your thoughts on this episode, Friggin?
This one, I guess character-y stuff kind of happened, but it didn't. It felt like it was just like I don't know, like it was just like, oh, let's just like hang out and show how everyone used to be friends and now they're all dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that's like what this show is sort of is kind of doing that a bunch, and I don't know. I don't hate
Yeah,
it.
which
Um,
I don't either by any
I like there
means.
was like more action. I mean, I think the action on the show looks good when they do it. Like they don't
Yeah,
do it
oh for
like a
sure.
lot of it, but every time they do it, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I still miss episode 2 where it was just 15 continuous minutes of
oh yeah,
robot
that was a
battle,
lot.
but we got some here. Though it was our protagonist did not do so good this time, and we lost what 3 more
Oh, I thought it was
this
just
episode.
2. Was it 3?
Oh, maybe it was 2. That was
I saw there was the blonde dude and there was like the black-haired girl, and
yeah. I wasn't because after the fact, Reaper there had to go and shoot one of them. I wasn't sure if that's one of the
oh,
ones
so
we
maybe
saw
was
got
that
killed. So maybe it was.
if that was a third dude or was it just the blonde dude? Or
I
I
don't
don't know.
remember because I'm awful with their names because they introduced 20 characters at once.
Yeah, yeah. I looked. I only remembered because I just looked at it right before. It was Daya was the blonde dude's name. I couldn't even just skipping through. I couldn't find the other girl's name who died. I could. I mean, so
I guess we're terrible because we don't care about the 86s.
well. I mean, at least with the blonde dude, they had it like set him up that he liked the purple-haired girl, and then Anju or whatever, and it
That's
was
kind of
like,
how the
oh
show
no,
goes. Like, if any character is getting characterization, that means that in
yeah,
10
they'll
minutes
die
they're going to be
immediately.
killed off. But
Yeah.
it's kind of nice that they are going back and sometimes just showing like the gang all hanging out, since it's a lot of like scenes from before the start of the show chronologically. Just like,
I
oh
also
yeah,
liked how
get to meet all
here,
the
like, we get even
characters.
more clues of like how to shit like the army is like their more apparently their mortars don't even work or something. Like
Like,
Lena made a big deal trying to get them, and then when she talks to Sheen, he's like, "Yeah, I don't even know if those work, even if you were to get them get approval
yeah,
or
like
something."
they probably don't because like they've been in storage for so long that like they're probably not functional.
Yeah, this is, but
Yeah.
that's like
Well, they mentioned
where
that
it's getting a really ominous vibe to where like
they
things are probably going to get really bad, and it's like going to be on the backs of the 86, not like the
yeah,
government people.
because they
They're the
mentioned it
only
would have
ones
to
who
be
know all
like
this stuff.
their soldiers would be have the ones that have to do the mortars, and they're like, why would we send humans into the field when we have
Yeah,
these automatic robots? And everyone knows what's going on. Like that's, I'm still shocked that like it's not even a secret that the 86ers are the ones in the robots, and everyone acts like they're not anyway. Like,
yeah.
why do they all keep up the pretense? Like, just
I
to
don't
make
know.
themselves feel better, I guess. I don't
Do the
know.
people not in the military know?
I don't. I think they know that there was like some like shady stuff going on, and they like within these people's lifetimes, the 86s got like voted to be depersoned.
Oh,
But so like people know that they're like they were put into camps or something, but I don't think they know that they're in the robots. Maybe, but
hmm.
one way or another, everyone's racist.
I don't know. Like the show has like good, like the end card of this episode with the chocolate. The show does like a lot of little cool, stylish things. Just like
Yeah,
it was well made,
I like her
but
board
it's
with the
like,
little like doodles of everybody, and then there's the sad jar with all the dead people in it.
oh yeah,
That was How many? I gotta wonder. Like, are they planning on killing off most of the crew by the end of the season?
I guess, or I mean,
Because we lose a couple every episode
yeah,
to the point where
it's it's,
it
it's
also.
kind of cool though, like that you have this rate of people just like it's really hard. They can't. It's hard to do much better than they are for us, like first connection, given how many are dying.
Oh
It's like
yeah,
it's kind of interesting that it's kept up at this rate. It's not like they just do one or two for a shock at the beginning. They just continuously one by
yeah.
one.
On the other hand, though, it feels like it doesn't have as much of an impact if they're killing people constantly when
Well, it's
people
not
die.
going to, and it's like as a viewer, you're almost like as desensitized as if you were in the '86, like losing your people, and you just that's just what you deal with on a
I
daily
guess
basis.
there is a bit of a meta experience in like
Yeah,
you have to like care about the show a lot to like remember the names of all these people,
yeah. I mean,
and then
I don't
also they're
remember their
dying
names, but
constantly.
like at the
So
same time, I like the fact that I don't know if I've seen a show where you just like lose people this fast, this frequently, like, and it just keeps happening. Usually, it will stop after a bit, after some point.
hmm.
So it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say for that one. I'm gonna move on to the next show.
yeah, yeah.
You can move on to Fumetsu no Anate or To Your Eternity. This was like kind of an info dump. You got like a sort of sub explanation that there's the person that created whatever
Yes,
Fushi is, and
the
they're
weird gray alien
preserving
man.
the Earth or something, or and then the other faction is whatever the root tree thing is trying to stop them from doing that. I'm not.
Yeah, that was like it's weird the direction they're taking with it, and just like oh yeah, there's some other like we're not the only magical forces at play here. There's somebody else who's trying to like play counter to us. But
So is
that
the
does raise some
purpose like
questions. Like,
he's just
is
going to absorb everything, and that's the way they preserve the Earth? I don't know. Like they just absorb everything.
the vibe I got was maybe something like they're like recording what an experience of the Earth is
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It seems like a almost like an
Like it's
emotional experience
exactly
absorption.
so it's less like preserving like oh we have to save the world as much as like oh we have to like have someone
The story of
live
March
through
and the
yeah
story of the boy and the story of the dog, right? And the story
yeah
of I
so
mean,
in
I guess
that
the bear
regard
is
like
not really. I guess the bear's a tragic story because he was just had arrows all in him and he
kind of
was
sort of
beat up.
but
Yeah, yeah, maybe I don't know.
some of the forms we gotta admit they are combat forms.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, I could not believe how much ass he was kicking in
Yeah,
March
March
form.
Form's OP.
Like,
March Form,
damn.
he can climb, super speed climbing ability. Yeah, March Form's pretty good.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have thought that'd be like combat combat morph,
Well,
but
I mean, they set it up to like, oh no, he's only got the March Form yet, and then it's like the best one. Yeah,
yeah, for like
or
sneaking in there and
yeah,
that. But yeah, that that fight was badass. Not gonna lie.
yeah. That was probably some of the dog animations looked janky before, but like this one, like they looked good with March and all the other forms.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the whatever this new enemy is, the like root thing that like it just like
yeah,
impales you and like you're just like branches exploding out through your veins. Like ugh, that's
yeah.
very like disturbing and visceral. And
Oh, and we finally had like the learn to read montage kind of thing that I think you said you were expecting that at some
yeah,
point.
like
Yeah,
he can kind of talk a little bit now. I do like that.
yeah,
Like he's got that weird like affection when he talks. Like he's kind of like awkward with it still.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
getting
also he
easier
can
and easier to
yeah,
understand
but
towards
also
the
he
end of
can
the
talk in
episode.
all the different
It's a lot
forms,
easier
which is
than
kind of cool. Like he can speak fluent Japanese in wolf form, kind of.
Wolf War.
Yeah, like he was talking while he was a wolf earlier in the show,
I forgot.
so that's neat.
I
Um,
remember like he became progressively more understandable. That's all I
yeah, like that's there was only so far they could take this show without him being able to talk at all,
remember.
and that's that's kind of interesting that the old lady is like kind of like part of the journey now.
Yeah,
That
because
is,
she
he's
seemed
sort of
kind of
like
irrelevant.
yeah, but it turns out like now she's just sort of like a conduit to bring the story from one setting in one place to another one, and she can be like the person who
Yeah,
knows what's
she
going
brings him to
on.
this
And
other dude with the hat or whatever.
yeah, which we've seen plenty of that in the like the OP and the ED, like Lizard Hat Man. But I don't
Yeah, I
know
haven't
what the
paid too
deal
much
is, and I'm sure
attention,
we're
but I
about
think
to
I
find
saw him.
out.
Yeah.
That's things are starting to come into place as far as the stuff we've seen in the OP that doesn't make any sense. Like, what is that? Well, here
Yeah,
we
there's
are.
just gonna
There
be
it
more
is.
characters.
I
It
guess
looks
we,
like because there was. I mean, they showed several
yeah.
characters in the.
But that's kind of cool that like even though we've pretty much completely moved on from the last like arc, we're taking the old lady with us. So there's like a bit of that.
Yeah, I think that's always the case. Like he took the boy with him up for the first arc,
Yeah, in
and
a
you
way.
always like have some baggage, like a form and maybe some other things from the previous happenings,
Yeah.
and so I guess it's like in theme with like what he's doing. If he's preserving these stories, you always have like that part that reminds how he got there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not like a clean cut, like, oh, he's in place A and then he's in place B. Like, it's sort of like melds together. Like, the lines between the arcs are there, but it's like a little fuzzy at the border.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
and I like that. It feels more organic. But this episode, the one thing is, this show's famous for like the big emotional moments, and this was not one of those episodes, but it had like the coolest fight scene so far.
Yeah, and you had the most. You had more of a reveal than any of the other episodes so far. This
Yeah, some info
literally
was.
Sith Lord coming down.
He looks like
Uh,
Jiren in a cloak.
Jiren, who's Jiren?
From Dragon Ball.
I'm
He's
thinking
like a
just like
gray alien man, but
this looks like the Sith hood or whatever.
yeah,
That's
that's
what I
he
think
got the
of.
look. But that also
Yeah,
makes me wonder: are there more like him out there? Like, were a bunch of those little
probably.
orbs planted around the Earth and all going on their own adventures in different spots?
Yeah, I wonder what scale this is going to be like in the conflict between whatever's trying to stop whatever his creators are trying to do, and
Yeah,
like I wonder how what large that conflict will be, or is it just going to be him being tried to be stopped? I don't know.
I suppose we'll find out.
Yep, we can move on to Hige. Uh, it's a gross episode. We got Scummy Dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was hard to watch.
yeah, that was.
Like, I had a feeling it was gonna go there, but like
Well, of course, but it's
it was
like
especially
the
bad.
worst part was like, I mean, just seeing her like just give up in hopelessness and like stop just trying to fight at all, and then
Yeah, this was
unfortunately we had our hero come in,
yeah, he's
save the day.
our our hero. He's our guy for this season of anime.
Yeah, he is the hero of anime.
He's the hero of,
Yoshi,
he's the hero we deserve for spring 2021.
best hero in anime, Yoshida. He's
Yeah.
uh
But yeah, he is great, and I guess it's interesting because the show for so long was focused on like him and what he had going on, and now
yeah.
it's starting to shift over to her.
Yeah, which is the point. It's kind of like her resolving her issue, and the
Yeah,
beginning is focused on just like, well, this guy decides he's going to take her in,
yeah. I
and
guess they
at this
just
point, it's became almost like a normal thing. His coworkers know about it. He's
yeah.
handling it in a way that
It's like
is
everything on his end's
reasonable.
resolved. Now let's get down
Yeah,
to let's get down to her, because I'm sure she has
yeah.
all sorts of issues that haven't been addressed yet.
What the worst
Why
part
did
was
she run
like
away? What's
the
going on with her family? All that.
the worst part about this episode was that he goes back to work. Asami's like, did you try to do anything after she said no? And he's like, maybe. Like, what the, like, who, like, the fact he goes that far and just shamelessly and, like, I don't know, that's just, like, and also the way it was taken, it was taken so lightly, like, they didn't, like, just, like, they still interacted with him normally after he was like that in the next day at work. And it's just like,
Yeah, that's I think
why are they
because
like being buddy buddy after what happened? That doesn't makes sense. That's
I think it's because they know that if they like stir up too much trouble, then he can call the police and get her taken back
oh
home.
yeah, you're right. He could
So
actually
that's he's
mess
kind
up
of got like this.
Yoshida's
He's
shit.
kind of dangling that sword over all their heads, like, oh yeah, if you piss me off too much, I'm getting the cops involved, and like people are going to jail for
Yeah,
kidnapping a high schooler,
it's kind of
effectively.
bad.
Yeah, so that's. But
At least on the tail end, we had like Asami and Sayu, and they're like talking about their futures and stuff. That was at least,
that was nice breath of fresh air.
yeah. And she's finally like says she knows what she wants to do, and
Yeah.
Yoshida said he'd support her in that at the end of the episode, and that was good.
Oh yeah, that's I our this episode. I guess enjoy's not the right word, but it was good. Like it's like
Asumi's a really good character. I don't know.
oh
She's
yeah,
like honestly, like most of the characters in the shows are pretty good. I mean, I guess maybe like Mishima's not that interesting, but yeah.
yeah.
Koto's okay. Not bad. I guess the least interesting character is Mishima, but I guess the rest of them are good though. All the other ones. Uh,
Hmm. But yeah, that's I do want to see where this goes because I have to assume like the next thing kind of the show is going to do is start looking into her past and her finally talking about it because we still have no clue what's going on,
yeah,
and it's
you're right,
been a
actually.
while. Like we're what about halfway through the season and we still have no idea what her backstory is or why she's here, why she left,
Yeah.
any of that. They're gonna have to start going into that soon. So that's I think this show's gonna become a lot more interesting.
It'll probably like maybe it will like quickly resolve once we go there or something. It'll be like a 2 or 3 episode thing
Yeah.
once that gets reached.
Well, I mean, assuming these shows are roughly 12 episodes a pop, we're already halfway done the season. So
Yeah, this
they
one's
haven't got.
13. It's got already listed. This
Oh,
one will be
okay.
13.
Okay, yeah, then they don't have too much time left. 3 episodes is
Yeah.
like half of the remainder of the runtime.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're gonna start getting into like increasingly serious stuff over the next several episodes.
Yeah, this
So
might be
maybe
my
this
favorite
one
episode of the show. I don't know. There's some other good ones, but
that's
this one's
I know what you mean. Like it was
not in like a yeah, you don't like what happened, but as
yeah,
far
like
as like
exactly. Like that's
in
that was rough, but
exploration of like the explosion of her emotions, and like you could see how she felt broken, and it's like because she was okay, but then she had to face like sort of like her past, and it you could see how it hurt her just having to mentally think about it. Not like obviously the bad physical stuff was about to happen, but it's more of like the internal how she reacted to it, which is like
yeah.
was interesting and made a lot of sense given what she had been through.
But yeah,
Um,
that's really
it's like you
this is
saw her just fall into hopelessness, which but then there was people. Then she had people around her to support her, and she didn't stay there, and so it was good. And so yeah, that was
yeah.
why I like this episode. Anything else? Want to move on to the next show?
Yep.
Okay, we can move on to Nagatoro. Had a MMO dream scene here. It was
That was
kind of okay.
it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it's one of those like, oh, it was all a dream. So like it isn't really actual like plot character
Yeah, but I
development,
loved the
anything like that.
ending. The special ending they did with it at
Oh
the
yeah,
end.
the chiptune remix and the
Yeah.
like is it bad that that was almost more impressive than that actual
No, yeah, the chip that
little
was way actually the chip tune thing at the end was cool. That was like the
like
best part of this episode,
I'll
probably.
give them yeah, I got to give them props for the fact that that was just like a really nice touch
Yeah, it
to
was very well integrated. Uh,
yeah, that it felt
I thought at first it was like that he was actually just in an MMO, but it was just a dream. I thought he was playing, and
yeah, I figured it'd be something like, oh yeah, he started playing like D&D or something in the summer with Nagatoro
I
and
was thinking more
they
like
were
a video
having
game. But
and oh or something like that. I just envisioned they were playing some sort of game over the summer and then she invites her friends over and they were being assholes
Well,
to
they also had
him.
the
And
good touches where they showed like the stats of all the characters in the side cards,
oh
where
yeah,
it's like where it was like the demon lord version had like 999 and everything once they went in that form.
yeah. But
And that was cool.
yeah,
And then
I
there's
thought
like
at first
the
like this
beach
was like
episode.
yeah, oh yeah, the beach episode that was. I guess this was gonna happen sooner or later, and seeing as how they are on summer break right now, it's
Hmm.
time. So it was fine. Um, I mean, good for him that he went.
Yeah,
That's a start, and like he's interacting with them on
definitely
summer break.
relatable. Not wanting to go just because sunscreen sucks, and you. I totally relate to this too.
We literally just went to the beach a month ago.
And I also did the same thing. Where like, I don't want to put on sunscreen. It sucks. I don't want to go. I
Granted, it was
literally
also
did the
like
same
cloudy,
thing.
50 degrees every day, but still.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't sunny, but like I did the same thing where I didn't want to put on the sunscreen and go out like a month ago. Yeah, same
Yeah,
same. Definitely understand
yeah.
the.
We just had our beach episode like but
Fortunately, Nagatoro and Nagatoro friends were not there.
because they yeah that. But you don't want to have sunscreen ground into your back.
I love how he calls them Nagatoro friends. He doesn't call them their name for a lot of the time. Or like in his head, he'll be like, "Oh, Nagatoro friends."
You know what?
Uh,
I call them that too. I don't remember their names.
yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, that's it's funny though. I just love that like they're just like a clump that goes with her.
Like hell, have they even said his name yet?
They call him Senpai and Paisen. He's just Senpai. That's he does. I don't think the show ever says his name.
Huh?
Like
I'm
I
sure
don't think anyone says his name. Like I think the point is he's just Senpai.
he's
Yeah.
just he's some dude.
Yeah, yeah. The one girl calls him Paisen, and then the
Yeah,
other one calls him Senpai.
dude, I can't
Yeah.
wait till like that's the big reveal at the end of the season is like what's his actual name.
It might not. I don't know if it actually does it because looking at the information.
I don't know
Oh
because
no,
I
it actually does show. It actually does show a name there. Okay, so he does have a name, but yeah, it's just not said anytime.
yeah I haven't noticed it yet, but yeah this like the this episode was fine, but it felt like nothing like of substance really happened.
I'm not watching this show for like great developments. I'm just like for the minor little cute moments where it's like
I know, yeah, this
senpai
that's
like in this one you had the classic like senpai was modestly was blushed when Nagatoro showed her swimsuit and she was satisfied with that knowing that he modestly blushed at it like as opposed to his reaction to the other girls was more like oh my they have large boobs and then but like Nagatoro took all hers and it was just like he like he intentionally like suppressed his reaction and it's almost as if because she noticed that he intentionally suppressed his reaction to her she's like he's making that thought for me and then she sort of smiled. I
yeah.
don't know, that's like an interaction in itself which is cool and like that's what I like about this show. It's just the little things like that where it's just like all
Yeah,
uh,
that's
little blushy cutesy stuff like that and that's what this show does
yeah.
really well.
I guess that's just this was just like a very typical episode, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think why this episode was weak was the first part wasn't that interesting to me.
Yeah,
Outside of all the details they did with it was really cool, but actually the MMO kind of thing itself wasn't that interesting. As sort of a skit because basically it's like a skit show. You get a couple each episode, and uh,
yeah,
the
that's something I
first
was
one was
talking with somebody about. This is I can't think of any other anime I've seen in a long time, if ever, that like kind of like Western cartoons splits up one episode into two little halves.
yeah. There's a few, but they're not super common. But there are a few
Yeah,
where you just
but for a skit
like I
show like
think
that, this seems really appropriate. So
yeah, it's good.
yeah,
Okay, we can move on to Shadow's house.
yes.
Okay.
So
Had more
stuff is
spooky.
happening. I have to admit, I was very amused by the fact that there the guy who's like administering the test is like secretly extremely nervous.
Yeah,
I did not expect that he'd be like freaking out about like, oh god, I'm gonna be awful at judging them and I'm gonna get punished and I'm not being harsh enough on any of them and like
But he's
he's
also, it looks like he wanted Kate to lose from his internal dialogue specifically, so I think there's something going on there.
maybe he just like can see that her and Emilico are like weird. Like they're not like they have a bit more they're a bit more free spirited and like have personalities, and we
Yeah,
don't
but he was
like
like worried that, oh no,
personalities.
after this now they're gonna move up and I might not be able to knock them out. Which is like, what? Says why does he really want to knock them out specifically?
Maybe he thinks they're going to be like a problem later
Hmm,
because Emilico is
maybe.
actually like smart and like a problem solver and has a personality of her own, and that's not what they want out of the dolls in the shadows. They want like boring run of the mill, like knows their place and stays in line.
Yeah, but it looks also like Kate was put in a way more difficult place to get than the other one, so he clearly wants her out. I feel like there's incentive there,
Yeah. Um,
or intention there to like make her fail.
I know that what's his name? Blue shirt guy.
Sean or John?
Yeah,
One's
John.
John, the other one's Sean.
Yeah, Sean's the doll. John's the guy. They're screwed because I remember they said at the beginning of the maze, like the quote unquote game, like they have to get their shadows back like clean. And he he blew up his own box, and now there's no way he would have known this because it's not like they told him what was going on, but like he's already kind of disqualified himself just because of that. So I feel like there's a chance he might get the axe.
Really? I thought. I mean, from what they were like, the other adult dolls were said at the end. They were like, "Oh, has a lot of shadow power for being able to get out like that, or
Maybe.
whatever it was." Power. So I wonder. I don't know.
I think, but that's another. That's what makes me think. I don't think they want someone exceptional, if you know what I mean, because
Yeah,
then they might like vie for power, or might be more difficult to control. So anyone who stands out, what's it they say about like the nail that sticks out?
I don't know.
So I think they're trying to find like the most like boring run of the mill
I,
candidates.
I liked the Goblet of Fire maze.
Yeah,
got got the same.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
it's,
be
it's
honest.
a lot of things, but I just can't think.
I'm not
My
sure if I can
association.
fault them for it or not for the fact that like they didn't think to just like, oh yeah, there's 5 dots on the map. That's probably where they are. Like only
I
two of the
liked the
dolls
cart.
pieced that
I
together.
liked how she like wouldn't let Bram help her push the cart, and she just like, yeah, sorry, yeah, I'm acting too strong. I can't do it by myself.
Yeah, and that was give her a chance to help build character.
Yeah, and
But
I love Lou. Lou is so funny. She's so like, I love her just like airheaded, but I don't know. I think she might be my favorite character in this show. She's just so funny to watch because she's like,
yeah,
I guess I'll just do this, la 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 la, and then like, uh, I think I was maybe over mistaken in like when I thought, oh, that Lou's the perfect doll because like she's not doing as well on this one, but I don't know. It was, yeah, I don't know. Just her, she's like so airheaded. It's so funny to watch her do stuff. She's like,
I guess
she
yeah.
just like, how did she pick the clippers again? Did she just like throw
Yeah,
something
she
at
threw a
it? Like,
rock without looking, and
yeah,
it landed on them. So that's what she grabbed. She said
yeah.
she's like I don't like making decisions, and then she just walked off with those.
Perfect doll, no thinking allowed.
I think that's literally what they want. Like
Yeah,
she like that pair is probably going to be like the winners, or like they're not getting eliminated for sure.
but because of John, we now know like it's not just Kate that have like powers. So it seems like the other ones should also have powers.
I would assume that
Other shadow.
all of the shadows probably have the ability to like control soot and stuff, and they just don't tell the kids and let them
Yeah,
figure it out on their own.
That's probably what's going on.
and or like they develop slowly over time. So yeah, that's probably what's going on there, is that they're slowly developing their powers. And that like if a fight was to ever break out, like the adults would just like whip ass.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens next in like you said, there's literally just Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, go through
Yeah.
the maze, find the person and save them.
Yep.
But that's it's kind of
I do think
enjoyable
it's.
because
I
we're
wonder
finally
how we're gonna
gonna.
get Kate, because like, are all of them like in that difficult location? And like, Kate's just like up in a cage. Like, that's
Well,
pretty
they just
hard to
put
get.
John in a box, so
Yeah. So I guess like
I think it's different for
they.
all of them.
Mm,
And maybe it's like increasingly difficult depending on what your ranking was before.
yeah.
So like the people at the top are gonna have an easier time getting
Oh, that
rescued.
makes more sense. Yeah, if it was based on ranking, that may be bad because
Yeah,
she was
because
like last
yeah,
before.
she was like last place, so they would put her in the hardest one. But I don't know. Well,
Because like the poor need to get poorer.
yeah, or like you're gonna have to work harder if you want to redeem yourself, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Can
yeah,
move on to Tokyo Revengers now. We got Doraken flashback.
yeah, getting his story. We've been getting a lot of backstory for him, and I guess a little bit Mikey, but especially him the
Yeah.
last few episodes, and that's cool. We're getting to like know him, seeing as how what was it, episode 3 or 4? The two of them just kind of like showed up and stole the show.
Yeah, he was just a big kid. That's like basically
He
his
just
story.
was tall.
Yeah.
He was tall and had no parents, and that's how he
Yep.
became a gang leader.
Yeah. It's
Which
like
I mean,
I'm
fair
trying to
enough.
get a tattoo on my head in Japan where that's
In the
not.
fourth grade,
Yeah. Exactly. Getting a tattoo on your head in the fourth grade in Japan where tattoos are it's
yeah,
pretty hardcore.
that's. But yeah,
And then
that's
Mikey is just like magically powerful and can beat everyone up.
yeah. I maybe he's the opposite. He's small and agile, I guess, so that makes him like good at fighting.
Yeah. It's
No
kind of
remorse
still
too. Like
silly
he
for
just
me
like
him because
double drop kicked that dude's face
yeah.
and just like broke his face. Oh my god, that was. Ugh.
Because up to this point, I wasn't sure if he was like also able to fight or just kind of able to fight and really tough
Yeah,
mentally.
no, like he'll kill you with no hesitation. That's what we learned this episode. Like he'll
Yeah,
he'll
now we
he'll
know
kill you and
he's
not
not
even
just
think
tough
about it.
mentally and a good leader. He's like actually like physically scary because he's
He will kill you
fighter,
and
man,
smash your
flippy.
face in.
He's like one of those spazzy small dudes.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
interesting. The fact that there was a bit of conflict between the two of them at the warehouse,
yeah. We
where
got
Mikey's like, "That sounds an awful lot like you're betraying me right now," and he's like, "No, that's not what I said."
no. He's like, I'm just saying we should hear out what he's saying. If he's this adamant about being worried about what's going on,
Yeah,
maybe
like
there's more
Draken
to
is
it.
like a calm, rational, level-headed dude, all things considered.
Yeah, he's
But does that mean it's possible that Mikey is like partially responsible for what they were talking about with like, or not Mikey, our
yeah.
main guy, like Mikey and Draken having a falling out? Is it possible our main
Seems
dude
like
accidentally
Mikey
did
might
that?
like go dark or something. I don't know.
He seems like he's on the edge of going dark, and this episode kind of showed that off a bit.
Because we haven't even seen the other dude, the other gang leader that
Yeah,
we
the other
saw.
Toban guy
Yeah.
who is ultimately
So
going to be responsible for all this, but
yeah. So we got to go to the washed up ex gang leader construction worker from Mobius or whatever. Yeah.
sure, it would have been nice if they had like actually told them what would happen.
Yeah, he's just like traumatized, doesn't say anything.
Yeah, but I mean, they confirmed that like Draken gets killed and they need to
Yeah.
save him. That's like
But didn't they
objective
say it
dead.
wasn't like in the fight, it was like internal afterwards?
Well, they said that internal fighting's what got him killed, but then they said that the guy said, "Oh, it was during the fight," but now it's like kind of ambiguous. And the
Yeah,
fact
now
that
I
they're
think
meddling
it's
with the past is going to make it even more ambiguous. So, like, who knows
yeah,
what's going to
whether it's in
happen?
the fight or whether it was internal stuff afterwards.
So, I suppose we shall see.
Yeah.
This not as action packed of an episode. Like, we got the backstory on Draken, but then otherwise it was mainly just they went to a warehouse and
And
talked
they
shit in
talked, and
another
then
gang.
oh, they got ambushed. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah.
he was like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a trap," and then it was immediately a trap. So
It's
like,
actually kind of interesting. Like, ever think about just like the mass of people as a tool of threat? Just mass of people. Like, uh, when you have a bunch of people, it's threatening, right?
yeah, if you
Uh,
roll up with if you got a person you got a problem with, and you roll up with 40 dudes,
it doesn't even matter where they have weapons. You have 40 people, right?
yeah,
Like,
like you
it's like,
will be listened to.
yeah, it's just like I don't know. I just you don't really see that. It's like literally like armying a person like with a bunch of people. You just bring an army to do something. It's just
Yeah, so
like I don't know,
that's
like it seems like
but the fight.
force in
I
numbers is
guess
just not something
yeah.
we see much in society anymore because well we're not I guess we're not tribes fighting like this all the time. It's like
Well, I
uh,
guess in like the suburbs of Japan with all these gangs.
I don't know if it's like I mean I actually I have no information to make any comment, but I wonder because I mean are
Well, also, don't
American
forget it's
game
time travel, so this is
I mean I
like
feel like American games are more like they don't like don't they isn't it usually just like one-off drive-by shootings and that kind of thing more often or
yeah, but
it's never
don't
like
forget this
open
is also
field.
20 years ago, so this is like based on Japanese
uh
gang culture
yeah,
in the
so
2000
maybe
to
it was like that, I don't know.
2005 area.
Hmm.
So that's I guess like yeah, that whole aspect of the show doesn't really come up much. Like the fact that they're 20 years in the past doesn't influence the plot. Like I guess other than the
Yeah,
fact
I
that
mean
like they have old phones.
well I've heard I randomly watched like a Japanese reactor to this and he was mentioning something about when they were like leave like cutting out of school together. He's like, yeah, I think back when I was in school is the last time that was you could get away with doing that kind of thing. Like when they just all like didn't go to school or something like that.
Yeah,
No,
I guess
but
they started cracking down,
yeah,
but that would have been more recently than when this show was set. So,
yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay, let's move on to the next show. We got part two of the Robot Island arc in Vivy, or AI Island Factory of Self-Banned Waifu Island.
Vivy kills R2D2s.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that guy. It was the same one and you saw his number and it was the
Yeah,
nice one at the beginning.
like
He sang the song. Oh no.
they went out of their way to like be like, oh yeah, it's that robot that we killed.
No.
Which that I feel like that was a little corny. Like that was like really laying on a little bit thick, but still. So yeah, this episode
I
happened.
actually didn't think that was corny. I thought just like, having it just the general thing they're doing here, having it be the grace was corny. But
Yeah, it was a little bit, but still that was when they actually get to the end and it's like, oh no, there is no saving her. She
yeah.
did.
Mhm.
And like overwriting her program with a new objective, I guess that's we kind of forget, but that's like a very big deal for a AI to have that done.
Yeah.
Like that's like she was like pretty much violated by the scientists when they did that,
Mhm.
because that's like the cardinal sin of AI is like you have your mission and something and like being overwritten with a new one would be like what they say, like it would be like replacing your soul for them.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
There's
And I
some really cool shots in this episode. Just like I like the cube bike. I liked when
dude,
she
literally
jumped at the
Cubics is back.
Yeah, I actually thought of that. I never really watched. I watched like maybe one or two episodes of Cubics as a kid. And I just remember it died super fast, but I remember
Good,
that
it
and that
was
kind
god
of
awful.
yeah.
But that
But it,
I couldn't help but think of that when we saw it.
yeah, I thought of it too. This because it's
Yeah,
a bunch of
that's this
cubes.
obscure old show. I'm sure everyone thought it's like, oh yeah, it's like a robot made out of cubes in different configuration. And so our buddy there, he's I guess now he is a swarm of cube robots.
Yeah.
Or I guess he's probably going to go dormant for like another 10 years now.
Yeah, this was just he was just in the factory, so he just made a bunch of cubes real quick to do something. I don't think that'll
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah, he's probably.
That's cool though. I like that whole sequence. I was like the way they. I think the CG in the show looks pretty cool, and it's just a really good color palette. I don't know.
Yeah, the like
Again, this
the
show
whole
always
island
always
city
kills it with the
looked cool.
visuals. What?
The whole island city like just looked
Mm-hmm.
cool. Just in the design, like the design of everything in the show always looks so good.
Mm-hmm. There's just
Um,
like a couple of steel shots with like Vivy staring with like a angry face or something. I think this was after she talked to the dude in the main
yeah,
room. I
and
actually was
like
really upset for a while where it's like, why is this dude not more upset? Why is he not fighting Vivy? And then I realized at the end, oh, he's resigned that he can't do anything. And then it was made
well,
sense to me.
yeah,
I was
like
about
she's like a killer kung fu robot. What's like a
yeah, so
normal mortal man going to do against Vivy?
well you could like try and fail and just let her kill you, I don't know.
I think he
Like in
knew it was. I think he knew it was
like some
coming.
people's reaction might be to like try and fight and then she'll like suppress them safely and then eventually you would probably just kill yourself, but like he didn't even try. He didn't. I mean, I guess fighting is useless and it's useless, so I guess
Yeah. Now
makes
here's the
sense.
thing. So she was embedded in the factory, but she still kept on singing. Vivy was absolutely lying about her. Oh yeah, that's just like noise data. It means nothing. Like that was like a blatant lie, but she just said it
Mm,
to like justify it. So that was that. That kind of made this whole thing like that was a bit of a gut punch because it's like she showed no hesitation, no remorse, killed
hmm.
her, but she knew what she
And I
was
like
doing the
how
whole
she
time.
still has like, even though Vivi seems to have more humanity than like an AI you would think,
She still
she
acts
still has that. She's
pretty
still dumb
logical and
about like what
robotic.
happened at the end of this episode, and like to us, it's so obvious. Well, of course, the dude's gonna kill himself. You literally
Yeah,
killed. Also, not only like his new replacement, just tear it apart instantly when he tried to use her to fight, and just like demolished it in a
yeah,
second. It's like, what do you like as a human? It's like, what do you think's gonna happen? That's like the only thing that's in that dude's life. He was alone, but with his AI wife, I don't think he had connections with other people. Like it totally makes sense that he might just commit suicide there. And to her, it's like somehow it doesn't make sense. So it's cool to see that even though she does have some semblance of like humanity, I guess, she really doesn't in a lot of
yeah. Like
areas. And so it's
she is an
cool to
AI,
see
and
that.
like the very 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 end of this episode where she just has like a breakdown in the church.
Yeah.
It seems clear to me that like at this point like her mission that like mission to save the future has been taken so far that it's literally at odds with her actual mission of make people
Yeah.
happy by singing. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was a moment where they were in the church and she could have sang the song and
Yep.
literally made him happy by singing, but she just didn't. And then he shot himself. And I think she's like, go. That's like, like robot mind break right there.
Yeah.
Of like, I literally did the exact opposite of what I was programmed to do, and someone died
Yeah.
because of it.
It was a really good sequence at the end of the
Yeah,
episode.
so I think that
Uh,
she's going to be a lot less on board with this whole thing the next time we see her in the next time
like the
skip.
macro level writing of the scenario felt a little corny, but I'm okay with it. Like you get what I mean? Like
Yeah,
macro level, it's like, oh yeah, the wife is actually the core of the island. I don't know why that feels corny, but it does.
it's just it seems like a like kind of like forced conflict. Like what? Like there had to be another way you could make the island without plugging the guy's wife into it.
Yeah.
There had to be another way, but they did it anyway.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, that's I know what you like, but you
But
have
again,
to
it's also not like enough of a stretch for me to be mad
yeah,
about it. It's like,
but we have to
it's just like
have
a
a
little,
plot, and I'd
yeah.
rather like explore like the emotional scenes we
Hmm.
had here, or like the sort of like the ethical implications of the whole thing
What's weird is
versus
like
like
this is
argue
makes
over
sense.
like
Like
minor
the author,
nitpick
like Ray
plot points.
Zero, isn't good at like what happens. It's good at exploring character emotional interactions.
Yeah,
which
and that's
is kind of on point with this. It's like the
exactly,
high
yeah.
level is like it's kind of maybe a cliche thing, but what within that it effectively uses that to explore character emotional like engagements, which
Yeah.
is
And that's not the point of
consistent
this show
with
is not like entirely just like, oh, like the premise is not all that the show is. So I can see
yeah,
like
and
once in a
that's
while if there's some very small nitpicks with the plot, that's I can forgive
yeah,
that because
because it's
the emotional
with
moments,
it's you
the
what it's
action
doing,
scenes. Oh
what
my
like what
god,
it's
there's so much
doing
more.
with what it does is so good. So
Exactly, yeah.
and then also not just like writing wise, just like directing and visual wise, it's excellent. So it's still firing on all of the cylinders that it have made it good so far.
Our buddy the main terrorist dude has showed up once again.
Yeah, he's our buddy.
Kind of at this point, like, and he
Yeah,
hates her so much. It's almost it's kind of sad and funny in a way that like she has saved his life like 3 times, and he still like fiercely hates her with like anti AI racism. I
yeah.
guess like he just hates
Uh,
AI so much, even though this one particular one has literally saved his life 3 times.
she
So
finally
like
says, "Don't call me Diva," and wants people to call her Vivy, which I'm not sure the significance of that, but
I think
that
she
was
was
something.
trying to like split her personality off so that like she was trying to reconcile like 2 conflicting missions.
Hmm.
The singing thing and the save the future thing.
Oh,
So I think that was like her just kind of like struggling with that. And she's like, well, I to try and make myself feel better about the awful thing I'm about to do, I'm just gonna like call myself by my like rogue secret agent name so that I didn't do
yeah,
it. She did it. But
yeah,
that's not how this works, and she has a total emotional breakdown. And I'm curious to see where it picks up next episode because I assume it'll be a time skip, significant
yep.
time skip, and she's probably going to be really raw about this still.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be like more intense. I feel like her personality from now on is gonna be like even more cutthroat or something from
Yeah, like
after
she
this.
might just like her personality might straight up be like splitting in half right now.
Yeah,
But I don't know. We'll see where we take it.
yep. Move into voting time now.
All right, let's tabulate our votes and see who's getting the boot.
Okay, it seems when we voted, we actually had a tie for last place. So we are going to use a random number generator to randomly boot off one of the tied votes because memes.
What
So
are our 2 shows
here we go.
that we're going to be voting off possibly?
Last place in our vote, it was a tie for Tokyo Revengers and 86.
One
So
of the two's going.
if
Let's
the
find
random
out.
generator rolls 1, 86 is gone. If the random number generator rolls 2, Tokyo Revengers is gone.
All right, give me a
And we're
countdown.
going to roll this right now. 3, 2, 1.
Damn it!
And Tokyo
Damn it!
Revengers is gone.
I knew if this would
Okay.
happen eventually, like a show I actually like would get cut. But oh no.
That's funny. Okay.
Wow. I cannot believe it. That's
And
you know what though?
Tokyo
Fair enough.
Revengers got RNG'd off.
Wow. That is in fair enough.
Okay. And that's it for this week in Seasonal Anime Review. Or Survivor. Well, yeah. Okay.
All right, see you all next week.